Imagine feeling every emotion around you like a lightning rod for human suffering. Sarah, a nurse in Chicago, couldn't sleep for weeks after losing a patient. She felt their family's grief as if it were her own. What started as compassion became a prison of pain. Walk in someone else's shoes. They say, feel what others feel. But what happens when that emotional connection becomes a curse? When caring too much literally rewrites your brain and changes who you are. Today, we're diving into the shadow side of one of humanity's greatest gifts, empathy. Because sometimes, feeling too much can destroy you. We've been told empathy is always good. In the next 10 minutes, we'll explore 10 mind-blowing scientific facts about empathy that will change how you see this supposedly pure emotion forever. Let's start with something that sounds like science fiction, but is absolutely real. Neuroscientist Dr. Tonya Singer discovered that people with hyperactive empathy show enlarged anterior insular cortex regions, the brain's emotional processing center. But here's the twist. This enlargement isn't always good. It's like having emotional speakers turned up to 11 constantly. For healthcare workers, therapists, and caregivers, this means their brains are literally being rewired by others' suffering. The very organ that makes them human is being transformed by humanity itself. Picture this. Every time you feel someone else's pain, your brain creates new neural pathways. Remember Sarah from our opening? Her experience has a clinical name. Fact number 2. Empathy fatigue causes the same neurological symptoms as severe depression. Dr. Charles Figley's research shows that when we absorb too much emotional pain, our brains start shutting down the empathy centers as a survival mechanism. It's like emotional circuit breakers flipping off to prevent total system failure. The symptoms are haunting: emotional numbness, chronic exhaustion, and something psychologists call vicarious trauma, being wounded by wounds you never personally experienced. They're casualties of caring too much. Veterans, counselors, emergency responders, and social workers show brain activity patterns identical to PTSD patients, despite never being in combat or disaster zones themselves. Here's where empathy gets truly dark. Fact number 3. High empathy can actually increase violent behavior toward perceived threats. Yale psychologist Paul Bloom's controversial research reveals that empathy has a shadow twin: vengeful protection. When we deeply feel someone's pain, we don't just want to comfort them. We want to destroy whoever caused that pain. Consider this real case. In 2019, a father who felt deep empathy for his daughter's sexual assault became so consumed with her trauma that he planned to murder her attacker. His empathy didn't make him peaceful. It made him dangerous. Studies showed that people scoring high on empathy tests are more likely to support harsh punishments, including torture, against those who harm their empathy targets. Feeling someone's pain can turn us into monsters wearing angel masks. What if I told you empathy works like a drug? When we successfully comfort someone, our brains flood with dopamine and oxytocin, the same chemicals released by cocaine and gambling. Research at Harvard discovered that some people become literally addicted to being needed, creating a cycle where they unconsciously seek out others suffering to get their empathy fix. This explains why some therapists, social workers, and even friends become trauma collectors, always finding people to save, always diving into others' crises. They're not just helping, they're feeding an addiction. The cruel irony: the more they help, the more they need to help, until they're drowning in others' problems while their own lives fall apart. Here's empathy's ugliest secret. Fact number 5. Empathy is naturally racist, sexist, and Princeton neuroscientist Susan Fisk's brain imaging studies show that we literally feel less empathy for people who don't look like us. When shown images of suffering, participants' empathy centers fired strongly for their own race, but remained nearly silent for others. Worse yet, attractive people received more empathy than unattractive ones. Women receive more empathy than men. Children receive more empathy than elderly people. While we think we're being morally superior through empathy, we're actually perpetuating the very biases we claim to oppose. Our supposedly pure compassion is actually a biased, discriminatory system that reinforces existing inequalities. This isn't conscious racism. It's empathy's dark programming. The helping professions are facing a crisis. Fact number 6. 76% of healthcare workers show clinical signs of empathy-induced burnout. Dr. Christina Masloch's longitudinal studies reveal that empathic professionals have suicide rates 40% higher than the general population. The very trait that makes them good at their jobs is literally killing them. Her father said she felt responsible for every death, as if she could have prevented them all. During COVID-19, Emergency room physician Dr. Lorna Breen felt every patient's fear and family's grief so intensely that she eventually took her own life. This isn't weakness, it's empathy overload. When you feel responsible for everyone's pain, you eventually break under the weight of the world's suffering. Empathy doesn't just hurt us emotionally, it makes us stupid. Fact number 7. High empathy consistently leads to poor logical decision-making. Carnegie Mellon economist George Lowenstein proved that when we're in empathic states, our analytical thinking plummets. We make decisions based on immediate emotional responses rather than long-term consequences. This is why empathic leaders often make terrible policy decisions, choosing what feels good over what actually works. Empathy spreads like a virus. Fact number 8. Emotional contagion can trigger mass hysteria and collective trauma. Mirror neuron research shows that we unconsciously mimic others' emotional states. In group settings, one person's panic can literally reprogram everyone else's nervous system within minutes. Empathy can transform individual suffering into group catastrophe. This explains phenomena like mass fainting in schools, collective depression in communities, and even suicide clusters. Here's empathy's most dangerous secret. Fact number 9. Psychopaths exploit empathy as their primary manipulation tool. Dr. Robert Hare's research reveals that psychopaths don't lack empathy. They weaponize it. They understand exactly how you feel and use that knowledge to control you. They're empathy hackers, turning your compassion into their power. The most successful con artists, cult leaders, and abusers are masters of empathic manipulation, making their victims feel understood and special before slowly destroying them. But there's hope. Fact number 10. Compassionate detachment can provide empathy's benefits without its dangers. Buddhist psychology and modern neuroscience converge on a solution: feeling with others without losing yourself. Dr. Richard Davidson's studies show that trained meditators can maintain empathic accuracy while protecting their own emotional stability. The key is learning to witness suffering without absorbing it, to care without drowning. Empathy isn't evil, but it isn't purely good either. Like fire, it can warm your home or burn it down. The question isn't whether to feel empathy, but how to feel it wisely. Understanding empathy's dark side doesn't make us less human. It makes us more consciously human, because only by acknowledging our shadows can we truly step into the light. We're diving deep into the hidden psychology behind emotions, relationships, and human behavior every week. It really helps us reach more people who need to hear these shocking psychological truths. Before you go, if this video just blew your mind, smash that like button right now. And hey, what's your experience with empathy's dark side? Have you ever felt emotionally drained from caring too much? Or maybe you've witnessed empathy being used as a weapon. Drop your stories in the comments below. I read every single one and often feature the best insights in future videos. If you're hungry for more mind-bending psychology content that challenges everything you think you know about human nature, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Share this video with someone who thinks empathy is always good. Let's start some fascinating conversations about the complexity of human nature. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next mind-expanding episode.